Alright, Unit 4, Video 2. So we're still on Congress. This time talking about a few of the leadership positions in Congress and how it's organized. So some differences between the House and the Senate, as well as a few of the technical terms, the leadership positions. Alright, so two basic vocab terms. I'm not even going to insult you with giving you definitions. We have a majority party and a minority party in each house, both the House of Representatives and of the Senate. The majority party is the one that has the most members, the minority party is the smaller one. So you guys see I have the big elephant for Republicans, the small donkey for Democrats, because right now in the House of Representatives, Republicans are the majority party, whereas Democrats are the minority, so they're just smaller. Alright, so how is the House of Representatives set up? So the structure of the House. You do need to know some differences between the House and Senate. One of them is that in the House, leaders have more power. So we're going to talk about some of those leadership positions in the next few slides. There are more rules in the House of Representatives, so it is more strict, more restrictions on debate, there are time limits, things like that. So you want to know the idea that the House is more formal with more rules. Alright, in the House of Representatives, we have our first leadership position. It is Speaker of the House, and that guy is John Boehner. He is Speaker of the House. The Speaker is the most powerful person not only in the House of Representatives, but they are the most powerful person in all of Congress. Now, their job, they have nothing to do with the Senate, but they preside over the House of Representatives. And like I said, they're the most powerful person in Congress. So, they have a few things that they can do. They get to influence which bills are brought to a vote. So they can, for instance, right now, the Speaker of the House is a Republican. Because Republicans are the majority party, the Speaker of the House is always from the majority party. So he gets to choose which bills they even vote on. So if Democrats were to write bills right now in the House, there's a good chance that they will never even be brought to a vote because he's obviously going to do it in such a way that helps his party. Democrats will do the same exact thing. He also decides who to allow to speak, and his goal is to help pass his party's legislation. So he helps the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi used to be Speaker. She would help the Democrats back when it was her job. Alright, speaking of Nancy Pelosi, that's actually her right there. We have a couple more leadership positions. We have the Majority Leader. They're the second most powerful person in the House, so they're also from the majority party, and they're like the number 2 person from that side. The Minority Leader, so they are going to be the leader of the minority party. That is Nancy Pelosi right now. She used to be Speaker of the House up until 2010 when Democrats went from being the majority and they became the minority party. So no longer was she able to be the Speaker, so she was simply the Minority Leader. So she's still the most powerful Democrat, but she doesn't have any real power in the House of Representatives anymore. Alright, whip, you want to highlight this one. This is one that is pretty commonly tested on. The party whip. Alright, first of all, everybody has a whip. Minority party and majority party, they both have whips. The House has whips, and so does the Senate, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Their job is to inform party leaders how votes will go. So in other words, before John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, calls for a vote of a bill he wants to pass, he needs to know for sure that that bill is going to pass. So it's the job of the whip to go around, talk to all of the different Republicans in the House, and to make sure that they're going to vote the way that Republicans want them to vote on that bill. So he lets the party leader know how it's going, and also it's his job or her job to keep the party members voting with the party. So if there were a couple that were unsure, he has to figure out a way to convince them to vote with the party. Alright, now in the Senate, on the other hand, there is less focus on leadership. It is more informal, and there are less rules in the Senate. The first leadership position we have is the President Pro Tempore. This person is really, they're powerless. It is simply the majority member with the most seniority. So it's kind of like they are the old guy in the Senate. They have no actual power. Okay, so this is not a leadership position. They do not have any power. That will be a choice on a lot of questions, asking who the most powerful person is in the Senate. It is not them. They don't have any real power. It's just like an honorary position. The actual power in the House, in the Senate, is these two positions, the Majority Leader especially. They are the leader of the Senate. So Majority Leader is the most powerful person in the Senate. They schedule the business of the Senate, so what bills are going to be discussed. and they have the advantage that they get to speak first in any debate. The minority leader, they don't have any real power, but they are the leader of the minority party. Senate leadership is much weaker, and there is a lot more focus on individual members. Probably because there's only 100 senators compared to 435. There aren't those time limits as far as speaking, so individual senators can have a lot more influence.